JSD here, and I should have moved forward to block. Welcome back to another episode of Coolcraft Season 6. Now, in the last episode, I spent, well, longer than average building out some of these buildings in my area of the base here, so, you know, it's more than just my storage system and a singular tower. I also did the yearly annual tradition Super Bowl prank, so, you know, that was a thing. Check that out if you're interested. I also did some work in between episodes on the base around here. As you'll notice, there are, in fact, roads that are existing with bushes in the center. Yes, I did a fair amount of work prepping those. I didn't put in traffic lights, though. That is the one thing I didn't do. In this episode, I am going to finally do something with the output from the wheat farm here and finally build the cow farm, and have specially redesigned it for this season with a brand new look, design, and way too much engineering effort that I kind of regret putting in. Anyhow, that's going to go like right about here, so yeah, let's get into a time lapse of that being built. Is completed, and that didn't actually take as long as I was expecting to build it, but yes, this is certainly a much different cow farm than the one I built last season. The basics of this design are the same, but this new design is purely intended to fix all the issues that some of the issues that I had encountered with the design last season. Okay, I don't know why it's not letting me just jump out of there with jump boost. So, first of all, I did, you know, get these. Why am I not? Why is there not water down here yet? Is it just not flowing down here yet? Oh no! Wait, how? Oh, okay. It's a good thing I didn't copy this from this section when I went up. Okay, I did not actually expect that to be like that. I could have sworn I tested this. Actually, maybe I just put an extra block there. Yes, that was it. Okay, cool. As I was saying, in between the last couple clips, I did get a bunch of cows in a pen here to feed into the system, but yeah, let's go over how this works and why the giant spiral. So to start with, like last season, all the cows will be in this carousel here, going around in a circle. Wheat will be provided to me from the wheat farm, which I will feed to the cows through this opening here. Now, this is a significantly shorter carousel than last season, and I may want to extend it if I find that this isn't a long enough cycle time for the cows to be ready to breed again. But we will see once we actually get this thing up and running. Baby cows will of course be born, and then they will then be pushed out of their enclosures up there, falling down here into this collector stream. They will then be pushed all together and in to this water stream here, which leads me into the talking about the point of this spiral. So the biggest issue I had with this farm last season was that we get a ton of baby cows who would then all bunch up at the output in the area where they were waiting to become adults. When one of them grew up, all the babies would suddenly start flocking towards the adult, preventing other babies from entering the growing up chamber and pushing against any water current that was pushing them in there, which caused problems, not only because of entity cramming reasons, but it also prevented any adults in the system from actually being able to get out. And I tried to solve it and failed last season, but I did have a design for something similar to what I have built here. Point, then, of this spiral is to allow the cows time to grow up to adults, which is why after they are born they are shoved into this water stream and whisked all the way up. Now, it takes 20 minutes for a cow to grow up, and it only takes about 10 minutes for the cows to traverse down. It's actually a bit more than that, but, you know, give or take, it takes about 10 minutes for a cow to traverse, at least a baby cow, to traverse all the way down this spiral. The baby cows then take less time to actually grow up at the end, but they still do take some time. So that leads us into the bit that took the surprising amount of engineering for this. This main age separation device right here, which doesn't seem like much, but this was a lot of engineering work to make this happen. So the way this works is a cow will, baby or not, will come down here and be flushed in here. Now adult cows obviously have a larger hitbox than a baby. A baby cow will, in theory, if they are not holding on too tightly, be shoved out in between the bars here and fall down. If that fails, they'll maybe waddle on this trapdoor a little bit, but eventually be nudged or walk off down into the stream to go back up and go through the entire cycle again to grow up. However, once they have grown up, the adult cows will then come down here, be shoved against these bars, but have their hitbox too large. The adult cow's hitbox will then be too large to be able to fit out of here, so they'll be pushed towards the end onto this trapdoor, where they will hopefully get a little bit more momentum to be shoved into the corner of these honey blocks and the water here, where they will then start swimming up in the water stream. Once they hit this extra water here, there will be no way for them to go back down, and they will continue moving up until they come into this chamber here. Because in my testing, while it was rare, baby cows did sometimes occasionally get shoved into the corner and end up riding up here. So we have effectively the chamber design from last season to make sure that only adult cows end up going towards the lava. Any babies will wait in here. And to prevent babies from blocking the entrance to this area like happened last season, there will be another adult cow shoved into these trapdoors here that will hopefully attract any babies, preventing them from getting distracted by any adults coming in to this area here. That was a very long-winded explanation, but hopefully you understand what's going on here. Now I need to get most of these cows and put them into this. Of course, actually putting that cow in first. I forgot to record stuff for a while, so here's a time skip into the future when I've done more stuff. The wheat farm has now been connected to the cow farm here, so that fresh wheat harvested straight from the villagers now is able to be dumped directly into, well, I guess my hand, which will then eventually, hopefully, be fed to cows. Now, the way I did this is very similar to the way I accomplished this last season. In fact, I basically just copied the design. We have a bit of a switch here that's triggered by standing on a pressure plate in there, which will switch the flow of water from sending the wheat over to the storage here, instead sending it forwards into this other system here. So here is a little bit of a decay clock that will hold items here for a brief moment of time. That way we actually get more than one piece of wheat at once and hopefully can feed consecutive cows instead of potentially not consecutive cows. After that expires, of course, the wheat will then drop down and be put right here. I stand diagonally at this blocker here, so we'll be able to just pick the wheat up through the wall and hopefully feed it to the cows. I also put in a bit of proper storage here with a couple item filters, and yeah. Now, I have AFK'd overnight, and when I got back, my inventory was like entirely full of wheat, so yeah. This farm isn't as fast as it could be. More cows and a bigger carousel definitely would help me feed all the wheat that I'm getting actually into the system. But for what we got, AFK'd for roughly 12 hours, and yeah, we filled up every single chest. All the way up to this hopper here, which is, to be fair, a really good amount. I will probably actually put in a shulker loader here, which will mean I'll have to dig into the ground a bit. Oh well, because Dirty Cool is apparently going to open up a shulker shop soon. We also got a fair amount of leather, and somehow 24 raw beef in the output chest, which doesn't make too much sense to me, as if their cows were to die not in the lava, I don't know how the beef would even get here, because from or the way I see it, is the cows would die in here, or here, where the beef would just fall on the floor, unless I guess they had just started, they were already taking damage from the water and just started climbing up. They died mid-elevation, and I guess the items could have gone up then? But that seems extremely unplausible. Other than that, this farm seems to have worked extremely well, with at least, I wasn't looking at it, but no noticeable issues. And yeah, now I guess more storage? And by that, I mean that it's time to get my ender chest in order, as it's just kind of been like this all season. So I've got some shulker shells here, and I now feel like it's time to actually go through and put in all the shulker boxes for my ender chest so I can actually put more stuff in the ender chest. Here's what I've got. So, first of all, the standard rainbow of shulker boxes in the ender chest here, starting at red and going all the way to black. And I've actually filled up a bunch of them with stuff, which should hopefully be enough to actually do stuff if I ever need it. I will need some of it. So, first off, we got the firework box here. I can finally have a reasonable amount of fireworks in my ender chest here. Then we actually have a bunch of arrows. Yes, I do have arrows on me. Then I have my light box, which has a bunch of different light sources, which I will probably use very few of. My gear box, which has my spare elytras, armor, blah, 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 a boat for some reason. My food box, which has a steak that we just made earlier this episode. Potions that I had laying around and didn't realize I had laying around earlier in this episode. The valuables box, in case I, for some reason, need any of this shit. Who knows? I mean, the diamonds may be for shopping, but other than that, I don't know. All of my totems, very convenient there. A bunch of ender pearls, and I seem to have misplaced the ender pearls that I did have on me. And then we have the wood box, which is full of a bunch of bamboo. We got the iron box for making beacons. Oh yeah, beacons are going to go in the light box once I make some more of those. I need more obsidian, realistically. And that's it. Of course, I also have my fortune pickaxe in my ender chest now. Yeah, and that's that. I have now replaced the existing storage system for the cow farm with the shulker box loaders, and I don't know why I decided to use basalt as the block to build this on, but I guess I just did. It looks questionable and temporary, but it is not. These things are also significantly taller than I was expecting, so I had to actually make the item, or actually had to raise the items here so that they could actually fit in to the shulker box loaders here. But anyway, yeah, now I can store a lot more of these items, which gives me more AFK time at this farm. Up next, I am going to be adding some beacon service to this area of the city, I mean besides that beacon there, by actually hiding some beacons inside the International Trade Tower itself, as well. For one, most of the shaft is completely unoccupied. But for the one small bit that is, there is, of course, a bit of space that beacon beams could be hidden to not destroy the view of this thing. So, gonna do a bit of that. From a quick look at the building, nothing appears to be different. However, it's only once you look up that you see the white beams protruding from the top of it. Or, I guess, if you look inside, you will also see the white beams on the first and second floors as well. I guess decided to not do pillars to hold up the upper area, which I guess would have been able to conceal these better. Also, I didn't really have a good block that beacons could go through that was a similar color to the cyan terracotta, so I used andesite slabs. I don't know if it's any good, but yeah. Yeah, but besides that, yeah, we have full beacon effects in and nearby, of course, to the tower now. And so that is great. While we're here and I'm seeing this map, I think it might be time to actually make a new map. Because a lot has changed in the city since this one was built. So, yeah, let's see the difference. Alright then, here is the new map. As you can see, it is considerably bigger and a bit more built up than the old one here. So we can look at the old one here just on the wall. Obviously, it's, well, mostly green empty space with some stuff built up. And then compare it with this, there's a lot more stuff that's been built up. Obviously my area, well, a lot of this just looks gray, apart from where the walls on my storage system are. But yeah, these roads over here in my area are now built instead of, you know, not being built. Obviously covered up that stuff in the last episode. The brick factory here, some more stuff downtown. The highway that I built, or that I've been building in live streams, you should check them out, you know, subscribe, turn on notifications for that stuff. Of course, the roads that have been built out in downtown, especially around these areas. Also, we've added a new road to the bottom here. And then, of course, Jerry Cool's area, which just plain didn't exist last time. And all his planning there. So yeah, that's the maps. And that's gonna have to be it for this episode. So I'm gonna have to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description. And I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft Season 6. Bye!